tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I'm your host. Holy awesomeness. Oh my God, it's the end of May, dude. What is going on? Jason Gardner from the Alehorn is here, and I got it right this time. Holy shit. Co-host of the Metal Forge on special occasions.
Yeah, part-time co-host.
Part-time co-host. He is here for this week's interview, which is 90 minutes with Jarvis Leatherby of 19.
Yes. Yeah. Actually got the opportunity to go see Jarvis on the Blind Guardian tour, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We talk about that in the interview because this was that show was a while ago. So he's a busy dude, and you got to get these things in when they're in, man, and
Yep.
when you can.
Well, I can give my report if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. Give the report. The Blind Guardian show in with direct support of Night Demon.
Yeah, so it was at the Charlotte Underground, which is part of the Fillmore, which is a Live Nation corporate conglomerate venue. There's a bunch of shit around there. Live Nation owns, hence the Live Nation ticket I got here. So the room's only supposed to hold like 400 or 500. I'm pretty sure they didn't stop selling tickets because I'm pretty sure there was probably about 700 or 800 people in that room. I mean,
Wow.
it was pretty packed, dude, for a 400-person room. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it started right at 8 o'clock. Night Demon played for like 40, 45 minutes, about 10 songs. They sounded really good. First time I got to see them with Brutal Brian. And then after they were done, Blind Guardian picked up about 20 minutes later. Played for about 90 minutes. Crowd was into them the whole time from start to finish. They sounded really awesome. It's cool to see a bunch of songs I've never heard live before because I've never seen Blind Guardian before. So yeah, I got that out of the way.
Standing room only venue.
Do what?
Standing room only.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like the Fillmore and this room, they have like a back part of the venue where they have like tables and shit. So like there's a little bit of seating for like lazy fucks or just casuals. But it was pretty packed all the way
Hey,
around. So
I take issue with that
well,
because
let's just say okay, so let's just say lazy, like, but the people that are sitting there don't really have any issues why they can't stand. They just are lazy. Like
well, dude,
they don't have like a broke leg or like in a
90
wheelchair.
fucking minutes to stand there for a show.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah,
That's a long time.
it is.
I mean, hey, I don't default anybody who needs to sit down or wants to sit down or anything like that. I'm old as fuck now, you
Yeah,
know.
I'm
I
too.
mean, and I hate fucking sitting there and just like standing and standing and standing, especially on a fucking shit ass concrete fucking floor.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, if the band's standing for you, you should stand for them. That's always been my philosophy.
So people should sit down for BB King, is what you're saying?
They probably do actually, because
And
he sat on a stool.
yeah, he said
Yeah,
I think it was a metal folding chair.
that could be. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
all BB
he's
King's.
got a chair, McMahon.
Yeah.
No, this interview's been a long time coming. We're releasing some shorts on it and everything through the YouTube page, and obviously it's a video interview, which I am glad to do with Jarvis. I'm glad this one is. But yeah, I mean, that's cool shit. You held up a ticket earlier for the show.
Yeah.
And it's that gray and black and
The red outline. Yeah, here it is right here.
It's like, do you remember I remember the first show when they to the gray color schemes.
Well, let me continue on my story here because I had a comparison I wanted to do. So obviously on the video, so this is the Live Nation one. This is the one I got for Blind Guardian. Full disclosure, this was a free ticket Jarvis hooked me up with. I hung out with him after the show. There's a picture out there somewhere of me with the band and some other people that they knew. So there's proof out there somewhere that I did hang out with them after the show because the staff was like, "Are you guys about done here or what? And because we just kept talking, so that was fun.
Nice.
So then here's the next big show I went to. Actually, this I went to like two big shows back to back, which I really don't like big shows anymore. So this ticket is from the Amon Mars show here in Asheville. This is
Hey,
actually the Ticketmaster one.
is that a Ticketmaster
It
ticket?
is. Let me tell you, I got complimented by the gate, the ticket guy, because they didn't have to scan a fucking phone and tell people to turn the brightness up to scan it. All you had to do was scan the barcode, and I was in, and he was thankful for that. So I was like, I actually feel good, and I got to keep it, so that's cool too. Um, they have started this thing now where they send you digital collectible tickets, which I think is like super weird. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
have
think
you seen
the
those?
ticket from like 2019 was in that.
Yeah. But let me just say that so the bands and the Amon Mars show obviously were Amon Amarth, Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, and a band called Frozen Soul from Texas. I think they started about 2018. I have a gripe about modern metal bands.
Okay.
Um, so when you have to ask the crowd to mosh 6 times a song and talk over the riffs where you're not singing and stuff, dude, tell your band to write better riffs. If that's what it takes to beg to get people to move, write some better riffs because that shit got fucking annoying after about the third time in the song. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I was like, shut the fuck up. Let your song fucking breathe so you can actually hear what the fuck is going on. And don't seem so fucking desperate to have a fucking mosh pit for your fucking pictures and videos that you're putting up. Dude, if the songs are good, that people will move. It's a fact. It's a fact. Stop asking. If your songs ain't doing it, then fucking write better songs. You don't see Slayer out there telling people to mosh. Amon Amarth didn't ask anybody to mosh one time. Cannibal Corpse, no problem. Obituary, no problem. Blind Guardian didn't have a mosh pit, but you know what? I bet you there was about 500 sore necks the next day. If the songs are good, people will move. Don't stop fucking asking all the fucking time for people to mosh. It comes off as cringy, you know.
Okay. So this is a band etiquette thing here.
Yeah.
When you're at a show,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and you do the thing of like you see the band do the fucking thing of the fist pump or whatever to
Yeah.
get you to do it,
Yeah.
which is cool, right?
Yeah.
We all do that. Do you do it in the crowd?
I do not. But I will say the thing about the fist pump is like nobody starts a mosh pit on the stage. Like copy me.
Oh no, I know.
It's a simple gesture for like showmanship. Like I get that. But like this dude, all he did was just ask people to mosh. Like it was like, dude, I'll send you a video. If anyone wants to look it up, just look up Frozen Soul, Asheville Civic Center, May 16th. I'm sure there's plenty of videos on there. And I'm not even exaggerating, dude. It's a good 4 to 6 times a song. Anytime he wasn't singing, he was telling people to mosh. It was
We
fucking
might,
ridiculous and
we
cringy.
might need to reach out.
It's like tell him not to do that anymore.
No, we
Yeah.
might need to reach out and have them on the show
Yeah,
and
maybe. I mean,
you
the
know.
tour's wrapped at the time of recording this. The tour got a little bit left, but I mean, it's wrapped up by air date. It's been wrapped up for a while.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, dude, when you first heard Night Demon,
Mhm.
what did you? Sorry, big transition here.
Oh, it's fun.
You know how we are at this fucking shit.
Yeah,
We go
fucking hard lefts, hard lefts.
all the fucking time. It's like derailed
Yeah,
all the
we should be NASCAR fans. How the way we turn left all the time.
no shit. Or baseball players like that fucking see here's the ADHD kicking in because hard left outfield
Mm,
reminds me of the same thing. And where you know that fucking I saw it on YouTube the other day and it's going to populate in everybody's feed today because I'm bringing it up.
right.
And that fucking FHE Family Home Entertainment and a Pizza Hut commercial where the little kid catches the fucking ball in his fucking glove because he plays outfield or he plays
Man,
left field. Or,
that's a memory I forgot I had, dude. Yeah, I remember that.
yes, because you can sing this. You're singing the song in your head
I can
now,
hear it now. Yeah, but yeah, I haven't thought about that in 30 years. Thanks.
dude. It's gonna fucking pop up in everybody's feed today.
Yeah.
And you could thank April for that because she fucking brings that shit up all the time to me, and it
Every
fucking
once in a while, like I'll like when I go through the cereal aisle at the grocery store, like for some reason, like I'll think back of like old cereal commercials and shit. It's just like the
yeah.
Trix
For
Rabbit
the
commercial or something like
Grant
that.
commercial or the Golden Crisp commercial where the bear looks like fucking
Cookie
John
Crisp. Yeah.
Amos, where he looks like fucking John Leguizamo character in Ice Age, like fucking the sloth.
Yeah, that's a Cookie Crisp actually. But yeah,
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 he was like a flat headed bear.
yeah. Dude, I
Um,
know, I know where an unopened Batman cereal is right now. For $30. I can go
dude, you
get
should
it.
buy it and open it
There's
and eat.
something with it too. I can't remember what it is now. Something came with it.
It's
Well,
probably a spoon or something,
no,
or
no,
a
no. It was something like way better in a spoon because, like,
oh
Happy
no,
Meal.
no, no, it's the belt buckle.
Yes, yes, that was it.
Yeah, it's the belt buckle for the utility belt because it's like Batman '89 era.
It is.
And
Yep.
but dude, did you ever like so when I was growing up when NASCAR was releasing fucking like Dale Earnhardt Wheaties boxes and shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that? Uh did you ever notice the people would collect them just for the odds and they wouldn't eat the cereal in them because that's going to be like one of those collectible pieces. It's gonna be worth a lot of money one day, kind of shit. And
Yeah.
here we are, fucking 30 years later, and it's not worth fucking shit.
Nope. Nope. You get the so yeah, it was always like after the Olympics, it was like, oh, we gotta get this I don't know who was big at the time.
Kurt Angle, Mark Henry, Bruce Jenner was on.
No, no, and Bruce Jenner was on the box of Wheaties. Kurt Angle and Mark Henry were never on the box of Wheaties. It was always like gymnastics or like figure
I'm
skaters.
pretty sure Mark Henry was.
Was he really strongest
Yeah,
man? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
Which
yeah, I never collected any, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because they wouldn't be worth anything anyway.
no,
Yeah.
no, no,
That unopened box of Batman cereal though, dude. Every time I go in that store, I'm like, maybe I should. Maybe I
dude.
should.
I watched a video from like before they did the resurgence of this,
Hmm.
but where a guy had ordered a glass bottle of Crystal Pepsi,
Yeah.
and it was like the color of like Caro syrup.
Oh, really?
It had yellowed,
Yeah.
yes, and he tried to drink it.
Today,
And
when Jackie went to her tattoo appointment, that lady that did the tattoo for her had an unopened can of Ecto Cooler
really,
from
that's
from Batman Ghostbusters 2. Yeah, sure did.
yeah,
She
hell
sent me a
yeah,
picture. I was like, bring
dude,
that home.
dude.
Yeah.
I really wish I could have gotten the Pepsi bottle from Back to the Future.
Mhm.
Yeah, when they did that limited run of those,
Yeah.
that would have been cool.
Yeah.
A cool bottle. It's like a tumbler essentially, which so it's kind of cool shit. I collect glassware. Some glassware, like I have I finally completed that collection, and I don't think I've showed it off on Unsleeved yet, but I need to.
The McDonald's Batman glasses.
McDonald's back.
Oh yeah, man. You break those out when you got company, dude.
Oh yeah, that's fine china. Actually, they're gonna sit on the shelf. Is what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit on the shelf, and I might drink out of them once or twice,
Mhm.
but yeah, they're just gonna sit there.
You found that those at a yard sale, right?
So I had one.
Yeah.
Okay, I had the Riddler from then,
Yeah.
and I had it this entire time. So we're talking like 1994.
Right.
Okay, so I've had it this entire time, and it's like I really need to complete this collection.
Yeah.
So I was in a fucking thrift store one day, or no, where did I see it? I think somebody gifted me the Robin glass.
Hmm.
And I was just like, whoa, that's cool, So it's like, well, fuck, I've got two of the four of them, so I might as well.
Yeah. I got to complete the Infinity Gauntlet of McDonald's collectibles.
Yeah, I have to. So as I'm sitting there, and I went to a thrift store over in Louisville, and they had a Two-Face and a Batman,
Right.
and they were like $3 each.
Yeah.
Okay. And I couldn't remember if I had a Robin or a Batman at home.
Right.
So I passed on the fucking Batman glass and bought the Two Face. And
Mhm.
when I got home, I saw that I had a Robin. I was like, fuck, shit, this sucks. So I had to go back. And when I went back like the next week, it's gone.
Oh, fuck. That sucks.
It was totally gone. And I didn't find it again until like 4 or 5 months later.
Right.
And it was like $15.
Yeah, it's rough.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I bought it for $15. And, so between the $4.99 they were in 1994,
Mhm.
so $5, $23. And I mean, I still came out cheaper.
Yeah. Man, I remember McDonald's like back in those days, man. Like even back in like the late 80s. Dude, they had like the coolest shit in the Happy Meals, man.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember like the Transformer line they came out with like their food? It was like the
They've done
chicken
that since.
nuggets that were like a camera and like the fries turned into like a robot. Stuff like
Yes.
that. Yeah. Those, and then they had do you remember when they had all three Indiana Jones movies on VHS for $5?
I remember them
Yeah, they
doing
would
the.
sell them to you if you bought a certain something. I think it was like a burger or maybe a Happy Meal. I don't remember. You could buy the VHS of all three Indiana Jones movies for five
That's.
dollars each. Because I
Do
had
you
them. I had all three.
remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember that McDonald's didn't have the original like Michael Keaton Batman franchise for their restaurant? Taco Bell did.
Was it Taco Bell? I know they had the Demolition Man
They
stuff.
did that too. Which
Yeah.
Demolition Man's funny because the New Adventures of He-Man that came out
Mhm.
in 1990, those figures were repurposed for fucking Demolition Man figures.
Right. Well, I can say that having kids now, there's stuff that is coming back like kids meals toys, and one of my kids got this from Sonic. I thought this was pretty cool. So this is an Optimus Prime
Nice.
toy, but it's more than meets the eye because it's also a fucking spoon.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's pretty
Heck,
cool. I was like,
yeah.
that's not terrible. It's a cheap
Now,
piece of crap, but it's not terrible. By the way, Aaron Assange, this is one of your prizes for winning the last cameo game I need to send to you. But yeah, Optimus Prime
Optimus
spoon coming
Prime,
your way. The
fuck yeah.
Decepticon, the Starscream one is actually a plane that you can turn into a fork. So
No, fucking, he was always a gun. He was never.
yeah, well, you got to turn it into utensils you can eat with at a restaurant, Mark. I mean, we can't
Sure.
shoot. Yeah,
You can.
well, you can. But yeah, yeah. And I think one of them turned into a knife, like a butter knife. I can't remember which one it was.
That's great.
Yeah.
So when did you discover 90?
Oh, yeah, I
Back
forgot
to the.
that was the question. Wow. The hard correct you back on the road. So yeah, Night Demon. Back in 2014 or yeah, 2014. That's where my dad passed. Actually, I remember seeing the video for Night Demon, the song.
Mhm.
Did it on like an iPhone or something. It wasn't even like it was Jarvis, Brent, and then a different drummer, one named Dusty. So I saw him on there, and then I followed him on Facebook. That's one does. And then yeah, so I saw they had a new album, a full length. So I listened to that. And then I saw a post one day saying that they needed a show in between Atlanta and Wilmington. So I went for it, and they stayed in my house, played the auditorium. It's like a full production show with Andrew Bonsall doing merch and metal assault journalism. So yeah, about 2014 was the when I found them. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah,
See, that's rad as shit. I
yeah.
noticed them.
Actually, I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can move my camera. So over here, you can see it. There's a Y&T poster, and the glare is. Let me see if I can turn the glare off here. Oops! Don't fall and break. Sorry. Let's see.
You're getting a rare view here of
Yeah.
Metal
So
Forge.
yeah, over here with the Y&T poster and the Monomarth silver vinyl up there is a Night Demon poster that is actually signed that they
No,
left at the house name left out the day after the show. So yeah.
hell yeah. That's awesome as shit.
Yeah.
I
And I've been a
noticed
yeah, been a
that
fan ever since. So yeah.
around that same time period,
Mhm.
Um, Adam Neal was talking about them around then, and and hell yeah, man, dude, like just like watching them do what they've done and grow as a band, and just to see them now is totally fucking cool.
Dude, yeah, I mean, like we said, they needed a show to opening for direct support for Blind Guardian in the US. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was only one other band that opened up on the tour besides Night Demon. And I think it was like a friend of a friend thing in like Salt Lake or somewhere like that. They had a third band on. But other than that, yeah, all the shows were just Night Demon's direct support.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, they
So
pretty much had a captive audience. Uh for sure, because everyone want to get there early to get close to Blind Guardian, you know. So
sure,
yeah, they people were just like there just to get the good spot. So yeah. I mean, when I got there at the Charlotte show, there wasn't many people after me that came in, and I was like probably one of the last ones. So
oh wow,
yeah, and that's because I got there like kind of late, and then had to go find my ticket, my comp ticket, and all that stuff, go hunt that down, and then go in. So it took a little bit. Plus, there was lot of stuff going on that night, so I really didn't know what the fuck was. I really didn't know what the fuck was going on for a while. I was like, man, I was like, these people around here don't really look like Blind Guardian fans. What the fuck is going on here? And yeah, I found out it was like a big rap show in the big room, and then the Night Demon one was like like down the road a little bit in the small venue.
ah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy.
Because when I sent you a picture, you're like, yeah, but they can't name three songs. Like, yeah, they could. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
right.
Yeah, I got a kick out of that. I was
That's
actually laughing behind their back. They probably thought I was like fucking with some psycho.
well, I mean, dude, if
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So, before we get into the interview with Jarvis, what is the song that you want to play from Night Demon?
Oh, dude, it probably have to be Ancient Evil. That's still my favorite off the
Yeah,
EP. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many good ones, dude. I mean, the EP, all four are fucking killer. The expanded EP, all that shit's good too. The covers and stuff like that. Curse of the Damned. I mean, Curse of the Damned, the song is great. Really the whole fucking album's good. The next one, Darkness Remains, obviously, you know, that album's pretty solid too, but Dawn Rider is probably my favorite on that one. Uh, I would say probably the collection with the singles is probably my least favorite of all the releases. Not to say it's bad. It's just like it's just
I
not
like
as solid. It's good, but you know, it's not as solid to me as their albums. You know, because but it's a collection, so you kind of like
sure,
strike a point against it because of that. You know, because I had them all already. Well, let's
right.
put it this way: I bought them all, but I got three out of the four because one got lost somewhere and never was recovered.
Oh,
Um, yeah, so that's the kind of stuff. I don't have a complete collection of the singles. I got four out of five because they released a live one with Yuli John Roth doing some Scorpions covers in trance, and then yeah, and then Outsider. I just consider that one song, and it's all good. So
yes, it is. It totally is. But here we go. So you went all the way back to the very fucking beginning.
dude, a lot of times when you find a band, the first thing you ever hear from them is always your favorite. Like it's just human nature. Not saying it is the best, but it's your favorite, but just because that's what you remember is like the first time you heard something. Like the first time I heard Metallica, I was 12, so it was Black Album. So Black Album still holds a special place in my heart. Is it the best album? No, but it's the one I think of most fondly when I think back, like when I discovered Metallica. It was Enter Sandman at like a school dance or something. Yeah.
At the school
There's
dance.
something, yeah. I mean, I didn't dance. I was just there hanging out with friends. But yeah, I remember hearing it. I was like, man, what is this? And then like after that, they played the Too Legit to Quit by MC Hammer. So, you know, you never forget that either. I was like,
Then
man, this other song was way better.
loose.
Did what?
And I said when they played Too Legit, that is when you went out there and cut fucking loose.
I think that's what I called my mom.
Give me the
Come
beer.
pick me up. Yeah, believe it or
So
not, look at me. I used to hang out the roller skating ring and all kinds of shit on weekends. Yep, I was that guy. Because they had some
uh,
pretty good arcade games. Yeah, they had a Final Fight, which was a good one. Some
you ever
pinball and some air hockey. So
sport, but it wasn't like the fucking Van Damme film. It was like a knockoff of like
are you talking about Pit Fighter?
no,
Oh, okay.
no. This one it was called Bloodsport. It was fucking. They had like a Sega port at one point,
Really?
but that it, and it was just like this weird ass fucking like game. I
Yeah.
remember one of the stage fatalities is it there was there's like two ledges, and when you would knock the person off, they would go down and hit like this one fucking spike.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I think I vaguely remember that now. Yeah, it's funny the arcade stuff. Like it was like very theatrical. Like you would get like the arcade version, and then later on you would get like the NES or like Genesis version. You know,
And
it was never as good looking. You know.
Yeah, they were never the same. But dude, let's go ahead and get into this with Night Demon. This is Ancient Evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
shit, the end of May is already upon us. We are starting the ramp up a fucking festival summer season here. And of course, Jason is still holding over from the monologue today, but we have Jarvis Leatherby from Night Demon. Dude, what's up?
What is going on, man? Good to be back. Good to see both you guys.
Sure, sure. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, I believe you all were in the 2021 year of the Metal Forge in like early February or something. And I was super fucking nervous because it was like, holy fuck, fuck. It's fucking Night Demon. What the fuck? And then it's just like, oh, that wasn't so bad. They were cool dudes.
I could have vouched for that if you would have asked me.
I didn't know you yet.
Yeah,
I don't
Jason,
think
we're just normal. We're normal dudes. We're just metal fans that happen to do it too, you know? So, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
We've all got the stuff that we do where we collect our fucking goofy stuff, our toys, our fucking comics, our movies. It looks like you've got a collection of posters on the wall behind you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just here in my office. They're just, it's all Night Demon shit.
Hey, I mean, that's how the Metal Forge is. You know, we've got shit all around the place. Jason, I see, has his collection out, and we talk about a lot of shit like that. So
yeah, I got my backpatch in the box set.
Oh yeah, nice.
And then I don't know where my party mirror is at, but it's around here somewhere. Yeah,
I could guess where it might be.
It's seriously down.
No, Jason's a wholesome dad. He would he would snort pixie sticks off of it.
No, my idea would be like crackers and cheese for my kind of partying.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at in life right now. So,
so it's a fucking wine charcuterie board.
No, it'd just be like crackers and cheese watching like wrestling or something, probably.
And it has to be the Dollar General of both.
Okay,
yeah, or like jerky cheese. Like the cheese, the wax fucking shit that comes with like the fucking beef jerky needs to be like that.
Yeah.
That consistency, the most god awful fucking known to man fucking shit that's out there.
Cheese product. Yes.
Yes. Cheese product, which is government cheese, I believe.
Well, we should get back on track here. We have a very important guest here.
We can
Dollar General talk another time.
Yeah, no shit. Dude, Jarvis, like I said, it's been a couple of years since you've been here. How have things been? You know, we're just over a year release from Outsider, and people see it right here behind me. And on that tour, you all picked up Brian Wilson playing drums.
Right.
Not to be confused with that Brian Wilson. But the awesome fucking drummer from Ingve and Midnight Spell and now Night Demon. How has that transition been, and what are y'all looking forward to now?
Yeah, it's been nice. He's been a great bandmate. When Dusty left the band, we kind of asked him like who he thought should replace him, and he recommended Brian and nobody else, and we had already been thinking about him anyway. So yeah, it's good. We've known him throughout the years, and he was in the right position, kind of like he was looking for something new, and it all worked out. So ever since then, it's been really good, and we've started working on some new music together, and it's flown really well. So the chemistry's there, and something like that's a tough thing. You've had the same drummer for a decade, and it's not something. I mean, we even contemplated like, should we even still be a band kind of thing? You know, I mean, we're only a 3-piece band, and the chemistry is super important, right? So, but we got lucky, and it's been better than ever, man. I'll say we're having more fun than we've ever had with it, so that's good.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you all got to make it to Japan, right?
Yeah, Japan was awesome. We're going back here coming up, or actually when this airs, I guess I should say we're in Japan today. And then
bicontinental, god damn it.
And then next week is in Australia, and then China. So
wow.
Oh, you're going to China too? Wow, that's cool.
We're going to China, man.
Is there any songs that you can't sing over there? Do you know of like the lyric content, or have to change anything?
Yeah, we've had to submit our lyrics and stuff, but we haven't really had any feedback yet on what the deal is, you know. So
Yeah.
That's it.
um but yeah, we've had to, you know, make videos for them, film our rehearsals and stuff, and
Oh,
kind of
interesting.
and yeah, it's interesting, you know. It's I don't know, the world media gives China a bad rap, you know, but I mean, it's like there's a shit ton of people there, and you got to imagine that
Sure.
that
I
people
mean,
are people everywhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
metalheads everywhere. We're probably all the same kind of person, you know, um, and politically, it's like, yeah, okay, you know, countries have the certain way of doing something. They've been doing it for a long time. It's like I don't really feel like it's for us to kind of step in and tell people how to live. Every time we've done that, yeah, nothing good has come out of it. You know what I mean? So,
all right.
uh,
Hang on
I.
1 sec. I just got to say, Jarvis Leatherby for president. He just what you just said is exactly what I think people need to hear. Just leave fucking people alone. Let them live their lives.
The, yeah, one of the great things about touring and traveling the world is you really get to experience how other cultures and how other people live, and it's so interesting, you know. And there's so much to learn from these people, and implement at least different ways of thinking in your own life. You know, we don't come home and say, "Hey, we need to do it like these guys," you know. Diversity is cool, and it just makes life so much cooler, you know. And we it's but yeah, I totally feel like that, you know. Like we don't it's not up to us to make people like us, you know. We should try and learn from each other, and we've enjoyed doing that. I'll say that much, you know. So we're really excited to go there, and our drummer Brian toured there with Ingve, and he said it's amazing over there. And one of the bands I managed, Midnight, they just went over there and said it was the best shows of their 20-year career, you know. So yeah, so we're excited to do that. You know, we don't care about spy balloons or any of that shit. That has nothing to do with us. And you know, everything that I own is made there, so whatever, you know. Like, and I love Chinese food, so let's do it.
Oh, there you go.
You know, okay, so when you were 13, 12, 11, whatever age that you had it hit for you that you were, this is what I want to do with my life. Did you ever think that you would ever make it to places like Japan and Australia and China in your career?
I had aspired to, because like a lot of, especially Japan, you know, a lot of those like those live albums live at Budokan are made in Japan. You know, like I always thought they really, you know, they had a great appreciation for metal and rock, you know. So I would say that it's kind of funny, I guess. Earlier, when my career first started, I was like, yes, we're going to those places. And then the next 15 years of it, we're like, well, man, we're never going to get there. And then it happened, you know. So yeah, because I was in bands that were just touring in the States for a long time, like from the time I was like 17 to like, you know, 30. So it's like, then after that, now it seems like we play more in other countries than we do in the US. So
Sure.
but you know, there's still a lot of other places that, you know, we've been to some pretty crazy places, but like especially in Central America, we've seen some pretty wild shit. But like there's still some other places that I'd love to go to, that I don't know if there's much of an audience for us, you know. But just some real exotic kind of off the wall places it'd be fun to just go to, you know. But
Oh, yeah.
you know, whatever, you know, we'll go wherever anybody wants us to play.
Sure. And, you know, that's one of the things, like that same year that I featured, that I had you all on, I also had a band from Botswana, a death metal band.
Oh, no
And
shit.
yeah. And, you know, playing in places like that would be so fucking wild, like South Africa. And,
Yeah.
you know, that would just be amazing, because I love like African animals like tigers and lions and fucking elephants and zebra and shit. And I would just love to go to be able to tour there and play and to be able to see that stuff in person.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy. I've actually been watching a lot of I've been obsessed with tiger attacks lately. And like there's not many like you can find like on
no,
YouTube. There's a good amount, I guess, but like it's all the same ones that I've seen, you know?
sure.
And I'm definitely afraid of them. I mean, even house cats I'm not into, you know, but like but
They have the
but
same mentality, only they're smaller.
Yeah.
I've been fascinated with like the speed and agility and the strength that tigers have in the wild. It's insane how fast they run, how far they can jump, and like pick up an entire human being in their mouth and just pick them up and run. It's just like it's crazy, man. But yeah, going on like a real safari would be cool. I've been to some of those like you know wild animal parks, and those are even fun, you know.
Sure.
But to see an animal and it's in the
Natural.
wild, it's got to be one of those things, you know, that like you got to really, it's got to really put you in the moment, right? Like you got to feel
Right.
like those are the times you feel most alive, right? When you're just you don't know what's going to happen, you know. So
Sure. It's
yeah,
like the thing in Jurassic Park where he's like, we're being hunted.
right.
Yeah. Another point, you said the thing about looking into like tiger attack videos. Honestly, I think there's more of them that happen with um, animals in zoos,
Yeah.
captive tigers, rather than wild anymore. And I think that's more of a thing. And okay, so you're into the big cats. So I've got to fucking ask, battle cat or panther?
Panther.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason, what are you?
Battle Cat or Panther?
Yeah.
Battle Cat, obviously.
What?
Yeah.
Had to be the one guy.
Well, I
Had to
like
be
green. I mean, I like green. What am I gonna
I
do?
do,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
A big green and yellow striped cat is pretty
Yeah.
cool, but
Yeah.
probably because Panther was a flocked toy is why I still like Panther today.
Yeah. Can I say one thing real quick about Jarvis, his comment about house cats? Dude, I'm in total agreement, man. Like, I don't trust house cats, dude. Like, they'll just like claw at you for no reason, or just like they'll just like buck up and hiss, and it's like, dude, I just walked in your house. I just walked in the house. What is the problem here? Like, I
Yeah.
just don't trust them.
Yeah, that's you said it right there. That's my thing is I don't trust them. Like
Yeah.
I think I might have some childhood trauma. I remember I was like funny, I was 6 years old and I was probably watching Thundercats or something, but I walked down the street. I walked down the street and like, you know, there's some feral cat and I was like, oh hey, tried to pet it and it like clawed the shit out of me, you know?
Yeah.
I got total cat scratch fever and all that. That's a real thing, you know. It's like it's fucked up. But like, yeah, I don't they're too unpredictable. Their movements are so swift, and you know, even cats that are declawed, like I don't know, I've just had bad experiences with them. I feel like they have a really good sense of human. They like I feel like cats know what you're thinking. You know, like when they look in your eyes, they can sense if you have any trepidation about them. They're really dominant about their own space. They're not like dogs where they want affection or like any kind of you know I guess that's why they say like women are like cats, you know, men are like dogs, you know. But like, you know, they come and go as they please, and like I don't know, yeah. I know people that are just they love cats so much. I mean, like more than anything. Okay, there you go. I never understood it, to be honest, you know. But
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm on the wavelength with the cat though. That's just
I've
my
like
thing.
not I've not dated girls that I really liked because they had cats. Like it was just a total deal breaker for me.
It's a no go for the cats.
But I
If
am,
you have cats, don't even message. No.
but I have a mind obsession with the wildcat tiger thing, you know. So, not that I want to come into contact with them, you know. And the zoo thing is always like it's almost sad because these animals they're just kept on display in a small space, and what usually happens when something goes wrong, it's usually some dumbass trying to crawl into the pit or an animal handler not taking the job seriously. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are
Well,
you gonna do? You know?
the thing with cats anyway are really they've got a really interesting feature about them where they can immediately turn off their domestication and
Huh?
go, and it is a conscious effort for them to do that. They can walk outside, flip that switch, and they are no longer your cat. They are,
Right.
and they can come back in, switch it again, and there it is. And that's interesting because, if house cats can do that, fucking tigers and lions
Oh,
and fucking cheetahs can do that shit too. And
yeah.
some of these, yeah, as you said, yeah, it is definitely a some dumbass trying to fucking crawl in the enclosure, or the trainer either doesn't take it seriously or makes a crazy move or something.
Or again, like maybe it's just them sensing the fear. We I was a roadie for Dick Dale, who was like the
Sure.
legend of Star, right? And he had like a lot of wild cats living in his house, like really big tigers and lions, and he had a leopard, he had a panther, like I mean full grown, and but he had this kind of dominance over them, man, like where they'd watch TV with him and shit, and if they got a little crazy, he'd fucking put him into shape. And I don't know, man. I don't. He had that. He was like that with everybody, though, with people too.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I was about to say he just looks like he would slap a motherfucker down
he
if
was
he
he was something, that's for sure. Yeah.
did. I wish I could have actually got to see him live. I never got to.
Yeah, I saw him too many times. Don't worry. It's okay.
We're sure you were roading for him.
Yeah.
So when you're starting to take Night Demon to China and Japan and stuff, and say for as you had said, a band you manage, Midnight, did a run there and said it was fucking awesome. Were they sort of a test run for you guys?
I don't think so. I mean, I think they're the opportunity was there first, and I had already booked them in China right before the pandemic, but everything
Okay.
fell apart because of that. The same thing that happened with the war in Ukraine. Like we have been scheduled to go to Russia for 5 shows, and that was really unfortunate that we couldn't do that because of that war.
Sure.
And to be honest, I'd go right now. If during the war, I would. I mean, I feel like that's kind of, you talk about the moments of feeling alive, that's kind of on my bucket list too. It's like, who's gonna want, I mean, there's plenty of people that don't die, like who's gonna want the music more right now? It's those people, man. They can't even get McDonald's right now, so it's like, to be able to, at this stage, for us to be able to play a concert where it really means something for somebody, that's, I'm good with that. And the thing that most people should understand is, like, we're entertainers, right? So we're being brought into countries in legal ways, and we have handlers, and I mean, it's I never look at it as like a sketchy thing, like we're trying to smuggle drugs into a country, or we're trying to come over illegally, or we're trying to live or work there illegally. We're not doing that. I mean, we're going through all the government channels to set everything up to get there, and we're there for a reason. We're bringing commerce to these countries, and um I look at it like that. Like I feel I'll put it to you this way. I don't really feel completely unsafe when we go to these places. I mean, we've gone to, Honduras and El Salvador and Guatemala, and, all these random places in Mexico run by the cartel. And there's been some moments, but never when I'm like part of a concert or something like that. It's usually when you're own and you're going into uncharted territory. So yeah, I mean, I'm good with it. These are the things, like, I'm way more afraid of other things that happen on our own soil, that I have a sharper awareness now every time I walk outside the door, versus going to a foreign country to be an entertainer, you know.
Right. And, that's an interesting thing that you'd brought up, Latin America and some South American countries as well, and talking about like being aware of how different things are. In the book White Line Fever, the Lemmy autobiography, he talks about going down there and how crazy shit on their own time were.
Yeah, it's funny. We played a show in El Salvador once, and like on, if you're driving through New York or Philly or something, like, you get stopped at a red light, some like homeless guy will come and like wash your window and like ask you for money. Down
Sure.
there, we were on the way to the gig, and there was a guy blowing fire like at every red light. We saw him do it like 5 times at one stoplight, and then it reminded me of Gene Simmons' autobiography, where he would say he would blow fire once a night, and the whole night he would be in the hotel room just spitting, because like having that kerosene in your mouth is just, it's gnarly. And here's a guy doing it like 5 times at every red light. It's like so yeah, it's like, again, it's just cool to see other cultures and see how their lives are just so different. And you're just like, man, it's like it's hard to judge people when you're face to face with you see what they're dealing with, and it's like, wow, it's just so interesting, man. I don't know, I'm just really interested in it, good or bad.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because it's all experience at that point, and it's all of the things that just why I do the show makes people tick. It's like, holy shit, that dude's like blasting this fucking fire, and he just doesn't fucking care, because that's his thing. As Night Demon is yours, and Temptation's Wings is Jason, and so on and so forth. So I mean, that's fucking rad as shit, just to even be able to experience that.
Yeah, like not watching it on television where somebody's going to give you a narrative that you're going to believe, but most of the time it's not accurate, so
sure.
Yeah.
And I've been like really into that side of music history lately, taking like the Osbournes and shit like that, and how they've rewritten Ozzy's past and shit like that. And it's just like, come on, I was alive for some of this, and I know that's bullshit.
Yeah. It's funny. I love the information age that we live in, but man, like some of the, my innocence died when high-speed internet and reality TV became a thing, because it's like Ozzy's one of the big reasons that I got into even doing this in the first place, and like, and it's like I'd have to tell my parents or the teachers at my Christian school or something. I'm like, no, man, you got to look past all this devil shit. Like this, like I'm not committing suicide listening to this. And I'm like just like take a chance, like read these lyrics, man. It's profound. He's talking about like fucking nuclear war. He's talking about like depression. He's talking about like all kinds of shit. And come to find out later, like he didn't write any of those tunes, and like he just was kind of like, I don't know if the TV show made him seem like a complete idiot. I think it might have, like, he's probably not that stupid, but like,
yeah,
but you know what I mean? It's just like, when all that happened, when I heard that Ozzy was going to have his own TV show, man, I was like through the roof for months. Like, this is great. Like, I'm going to get to like watch this thing, man. Because at the time it was like I had a few magazine articles that I would read over and over again, and like maybe like a couple live concerts that I would watch over and over again, a couple small interview clips, nothing like we have now, nothing like a TV show of the dude at home. Right. I mean, that was like a big deal for me. And then it quickly became like, they just kind of made him look silly, and it's like, I don't know. The whole thing, when the veil was lifted, it was just it was really disappointing to me. And like, I've been in the music business for a long time now, and like, there's so much like showbiz tactics around like his career. And that's kind of the stuff that I don't like. Maybe he wouldn't be around anymore without, probably wouldn't without his wife taking his career somewhere and all that. But there
Sure.
is something to be said about, Black Sabbath just being four guys from a poor town that invented heavy metal basically,
Right.
and like just did it on their own and recorded an album in 2 days. It's like you can never take that away from those guys.
Oh hell no. And that's the epic part of it, I think.
Yeah.
Is the stories of like the Sabbath days and before all the rampant drug abuse and craziness and that ensued in the mid to late 70s and after his career and into his 80s career and shit. So
right.
Yeah.
It's amazing that those guys are still alive, I mean,
Oh,
it's
sure.
crazy. All those guys,
Considering so many others died.
absolutely, so many people, like it's pretty awesome that those guys are still around.
It's almost like lightning striking twice.
That's crazy. Didn't he have
I mean,
lightning
and
strike?
I don't mean to laugh that it's like, oh, you should have done. I'm not saying like that or anything, but the deal with like the interviews with Ozzy, I've noticed are just like anytime he stutters his ass off through an interview, he's trashed.
Yeah.
So anytime he was on the show, I think he was trashed because I've heard interviews and seen interviews where he is coherent and knows exactly what he wants to say.
Right.
And that like no fucking no high fucking person could fucking say, and yeah, so that's what I've noticed with him. But like that was one of the things that like changed my opinion of him was where they had touted him being sober for years, and then they come out with a documentary and it's like, well, he hasn't been sober for more than 30 days at a time.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah, it's tough. A lot of people get into that, and I've been there too. I've had bouts of sobriety. I'm on one again right now. But I had one that I thought would last forever until it didn't, like, so.
Well, yeah, and I'm not knocking it. Don't get me wrong, because everybody, like I said, I think everybody has a thing, a crutch, or not a crutch, but a vice. It's that thing, which I think we all go through it. Whether it be sodas or whatever.
It's just hard. It's hard when you're under a microscope, and obviously there's some kind of public narrative about yourself that you feel like you should be in control of. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's just violating in a way. Like it's nobody's business, but when you're out there, you have to understand that everybody wants it. They want to know, and you're an interesting person, and it's good that people are talking about you, good or bad, and you just got to take it as it is, so.
Definitely. So gonna go ahead and switch a little bit here, gears back to what we're going for is later in the year. What else do you all have planned?
Yeah, we are. So yeah, Australia, Japan, China, Sweden. We're doing so last year we did a European tour of our latest album, Outsider, where we played the album in its entirety, and then second half of the set was just Night Demon classics. We're repeating that this year in Europe for the cities that we didn't go to. So that's going to happen. It's going to be split up between October and some dates in June. We've got some festivals in June. We're taking July off off the road, at least to start up another special kind of project that I can't really mention right now. I want to finish it first, and then we'll let you guys know. I don't like telling people too much about things until they're done.
Sure.
Because
go
ahead.
It'll change.
Yeah, and we take on some pretty ambitious things, and a lot of people thankfully give us a lot of credit for that, but people don't know how many things we actually do take on that never see the light of day, so but I found that, with social media culture, a lot of people would say they say too much before they do it, and it's like your mind changes, or things, like you said, things change when you get into it. But what I find too is a lot of people get really discouraging with one another about stuff, and like kind of tell people like that's a bad idea, or you can't do that or something. And it's like, I don't even want to go down that road, so
Oh, well, yeah, I totally 100% agree with you on the you can't do that shit. Fuck that. If you dream it, do it. If you want to do it, fucking do it. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't fucking do something.
The best to do it is to keep it to yourself, because even like you'll find sometimes the people closest to you will be the biggest detractors of that thing. And it's probably because they are worried about you and they care and they don't want to see you fail. But at the same time, it's like you got to look at the people that are telling you this stuff, and if they haven't done it, like they really have no room to say anything, but that's usually what I find to be the case. So I like to just kind of work in secret until I see where everything is going, and then just be like, hey, we did something. Here it is for everybody that's interested to enjoy,
Definitely. And it kind of seemed like that way with Outsider, where it was just kind of like, oh, hey, by the way, here's this.
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of went, what the fuck? New Night Demon?
Yeah.
At least that's what I know Jason and I were. And you did it again. By the time we're recording this, you did it again this like past fucking Friday or whatever, where you had the repressings. And first thing Jason said to me that day was, I got the glow in the dark.
well, like that's okay. That's a good example. So typically a band might go on social media and say, hey, is anybody interested in our back catalog? Or like, should we repress it? Of course, the fans are going to say yes. Then the next thing is, well, what should we do? How should we do this? And what variants should we do? And and then it's like, okay, we're talking about doing it. We need to do a pre-order, and then it's going to come out in some months. And it's like, I don't know. I worked on it for about a year. And then when I had the things in my hands and they were actually delivered physically to record stores all over the world, I just said, all right, now's the time. And it was literally like a decision that happened 2 days before we announced it. Even with release dates, it's just like sometimes I just want to have it all in place. And with the instant gratification society we live in, if Amazon can deliver, if you can order it today and Amazon will bring it tomorrow, we kind of have to cater to that. You know what I mean? So, so that's kind of the thought behind reissuing the albums, and not, because it took us a long time to put that deal together, to work on the mastering and the layouts and the bonus tracks and the manufacturing and the shipping and all that stuff. And that's just boring for everybody else, and like, we don't want to drag the fans through that as much as we can. So,
right.
There are things though, like that kind of that project that I briefly mentioned, like where we may do some kind of a pre-order or crowdfunding for some of this stuff we have coming up. But these are things that we want to involve the fans in the making of. And like, these are way more ambitious projects than just putting out records. So
definitely. And I think that's part of the fun of being in a band, honestly, is being able to come up with new things to where you can actually reintroduce older material. You can have deluxe editions where you've had demos or live track versions and stuff like that. I've always been like an advocate for getting those where you can have as much content as possible.
I agree too. I mean, that's why we have a podcast that's run 193 weeks in a row now, or by the time this airs, it'll probably be near episode 200. That's a lot of work too. But like, that was one thing that when we commit to something, we just commit to it. It has not been an easy road, but we're proud about the consistency of it, at least, So, yeah, it's hard. Sometimes you try things and they don't work out, but you have to try, and I want more bands out there to just try more things, to just go against the grain a little bit,
Sure.
just do what feels right to you. And when you do that, sometimes you change the entire industry. I mean, I've seen indie bands do things that, like, man, like, why hasn't these major labels thought about that? And then they become real successful doing things a certain way. Then everybody kind of falls in line, and just
Sure.
says, well, that's the way to do it now.
Where you have a band that'll sit there and announce a pre-order, and then it'll be like 5 or 8 months later that the album comes out. The Priest album was that way.
Yeah.
The Metallica album was that way, and it's just like where you're announcing it like 8 months ahead of time. And
we try and make them shorter. It's hard, sometimes when the record company's involved, they want to do a certain way. But like with Outsider, they were really cool about it. We did a really short pre-order on that one. I think it was 6 or 7 weeks, which is pretty short. Most of them are at least 90 days,
Sure.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with the next album and how we're going to roll that out. But by the time that happens, the whole industry may have changed. That's how
just release like on a random like Tuesday or something. Like I'd be all for it, because I'll be honest with you, man. Like when you put stuff for sale, you did it with the Year of the Demon singles and stuff like that. When you announced it and it was on sale, I bought it and I didn't even wait, because I was like, well, I have to get it because I might forget or it might sell out. So if it's like available now and it's ready to buy, then I'm all for it. I bought the reissue that way. I got the box set for Outsider that way. I got all the singles that made it to ship out that way, except for the one that got lost. So yeah, like when it's announced right away, man, I'm just like, bam, bought it, done. And like,
yeah, I mean, that's how you have to do it. I mean, with the singles, that's what we did too. We didn't even announce they were coming out. And they sold out within 2 days, and we didn't want to be sitting on a bunch of records. But at the same time, yeah, we've since 2020, we've really been trying to follow that model. Like, let's get everything done. Now, sometimes bands need money to manufacture stuff, and I think that's a good reason to do a pre-order. It's almost sometimes pre-orders are like glorified crowdfunding, and I get that. If a band if their fans want to support them and help them produce something, if they're doing it on their own, I mean, that's a noble way to do it. But I find it more successful once people have the excitement about something, they want to have it then, and like,
sure.
we just do our best to try and make that happen.
Yeah, I think that's where fan clubs could actually benefit, is like, you get, if you're on a fan club mailing list, you'd be like, hey, we have an album coming out that you can pre-order. Like, you get like this variant if you pre-order, first 100 or 500 or whatever. Because most of the time the general public doesn't pay attention to that stuff, and they would never know until it came out anyway. So like, yeah. I think the fan club stuff might be the way to go for like, as far as that goes.
It could be. We've toyed with so many different scenarios, Yeah, we've got a whole freaking list of things we've never even tried doing. That's like, okay, on this next one, we're going to shake it up a little bit. And we sometimes, again, like it doesn't work out, and you got to go, okay, then you have to issue an apology, and then you have to figure it out, Right. So, yeah.
Definitely. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Derailed. These are questions about you as a person. So as they are you as a person, I do want to ask, so when do you unplug and become Jeff?
When somebody from my old life steps in. I had breakfast today with a friend that I hadn't seen in like 10 years, so that's that, but I mean, it's weird hearing my name like that, because like, people don't really address me as that much anymore. Sure. But I'm not a weirdo about it. Like if you know me as that, I'm not going to say don't call me that, like some people have this weird identity crisis, and like, that's just not the case with me, like I have no ego about it or anything like that,
Okay. See, and I always wondered like that, because it's like Ozzy,
yeah.
Here somebody calling him John,
Yeah. nobody would. Maybe his mother, you know, like
Right.
the thing is like I don't have an alter ego. I don't have
Right.
that. It's just a stage name that somebody gave me. I didn't even give myself. That became my name. You know, like
Sure.
it was pretty organic the way it all happened. You know, and so um there's just many people in my life that don't even know me from that old part of my life, so it's like just kind of evolved, you know. And yeah, it is strange sometimes to hear my birth name, like it just comes out of nowhere, you know, sometimes, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's me, okay, you know.
What? So I'm assuming family calls you.
Yeah, but even them sometimes they, you know,
They call you Jarvis.
yeah,
That's
yeah. And I've
awesome.
never asked them to, you know, they just, or you know, they'll pick between the two. They'll go back and forth 10 times in a day, you know. I just, okay, you know. Yeah, it's a
It's almost
non-issue.
like the middle name comes out when it's the proper the government name, as they say. It's like, hearing
Yeah.
Mark Richard.
The only time it bothers me is when fans say it, like, to me, like they know me like that. It very rarely happens, but it's usually from somebody who's like trolling me. You know what I mean? And like, and then I'm just like, then I get protective, and then I'm like, look, you don't know me like that, so that's
Right.
not happening, you know. But and that's usually just what I'm thinking in my head, right? I don't even usually say that, you know, like I just, I don't know, I just let it go, whatever. But it's just, that's the only time it really catches me off guard, you know. um but yeah, it's whatever, man. I take my art seriously, and that's about it. You know, everything else in life and my business, I guess. But I don't care. Like I'm not. I don't have a super ego about anything, even about my music. Like if it's not for everybody. You know, if somebody doesn't like it, I'm not offended.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you for saying that. I feel like everyone has to like this everything is for everybody mentality nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, nothing it doesn't have to be for everybody. Like there's plenty of
No,
stuff I don't like. I can respect it if people like it, but I don't have to like it, you know. So
sure. Yeah. I'm the same way with that. It's cool. It's not for me, but it's cool, because it's for somebody out there.
Yeah, and to be honest, when we put out our last record, you know, it was a concept record, and it was a bit of a departure from some of the previous stuff we were doing. We really liked it though, and so once it was done, we were satisfied with that. Now, when it came to the reactions to it, the reactions were pretty good, mostly positive. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be, to be honest. Um, you know, the best art divides the audience. You know, it's like sometimes things need to take some time and they need to age, you know. And like I've had a lot of experiences where bands I love will put something out and I'd be like, what the, like, oh man, this is not, well, I've had experiences where I'm just like, this is just bad, you know, in my opinion. But there's been times where I've like, I'm just not expecting it, and it's a bit of a left turn, and I'm not really ready for it. But over time, I'm like, this is their best work, and it just took me. I needed to get into it and realize I needed to mature with them and go, oh, I get it now, man. This is fucking incredible, you know. And I like that experience, you know. So um I don't know. I guess we've been fortunate. A lot of the critics have liked our band a lot, and um you don't want to get slammed by critics, but I don't know. I just I'm content. I'm happy. It's like when you make something, you know if it does something for you, and if it does something for you, then you just got to be happy with that, man. You cannot be attached to any results outside of that, you know.
No, absolutely. And that's again being going back to the same thing of saying where it's you know, when you're 100% honest in your art, especially with your music, that's when people seem to understand it the most. It's
Yeah,
because you let your humanity show, and and then that to me is the most rewarding part is letting down the shield and letting the humanity show.
I agree. I agree. You don't need an invincible shield.
Oh,
That was pretty good.
Hey, the album's pretty good though. I'll say that.
I do like the
it's
album.
a fucking great album.
Yeah.
Because they're who they are, I will not allow them to be on my top 5 list of releases for the year. But I mean,
really,
out of major bands, I mean, I tried to not do like I don't want to put Metallica or Megadeth or Maiden or anybody in there, and
That's
because they're on a different level than bands like yours and even mine, or way even lower than that,
I get it.
But we didn't even talk about that but it hasn't happened. So, Jason, do you have a derailed question for Jarvis?
Yeah, actually I do. Are you aware that you're 1 or 2 albums away from being hated by everybody for being a sellout?
Absolutely.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you, because your Black album's coming up, and it's about time that
well,
people are like, "Fuck that band." I was there for the first 4, and I was like, "Well, dude, they stayed at my fucking house, so fuck you."
well, so
it was the Old Bridge Militia, fucking North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I want to say it was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I still have this. I did like okay, so I'll just preface this by saying I'm a high school dropout. So I've never been a real studious guy in the traditional way, but I did like a research paper for myself, and I've never showed to anybody, back in 2017 when I was thinking about the trajectory of our band and basically kind of planning for the future. We had created a plan that was about to expire in 2018, by the first 7 years of the band, what we wanted to do. And if by 2018 we had reached those goals, if it was going to determine if we were going to continue or not. And so I was about a year away from that. And it turned out that, yeah, we had accomplished those goals and then some. Where do we go from here? So I took my top 10 favorite metal and rock bands of all time and just kind of broke down their career. One thing that I noticed that all 10 had in common, there were 0 exceptions. The meat of their career, like the best stuff, like bar none by far, it was the first 4 albums versus the first 10 years of their career. So like some of the bands, like back in the day, bands were putting out albums a lot more frequently, when you're talking about once a year or twice a year. In the case of Kiss, 3 times a year. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's what I noticed the common thread was. It was the stuff that really mattered that the band did was it was the first 4 albums or the first 10 years of their career. And at that point, I kind of said, yeah, well, God, are we that exceptional, to break that mold? I don't think so. I don't think there's anything exceptional or extraordinary about any human being. I think we're definitely unique and individual, but we're all on a level playing field, creatively. I totally believe that. So yeah, I took that into account. And so we have a strange discography where we have a debut EP, we have 2 full-length albums, a compilation of singles that only has 4 original songs, and then a 3rd full-length album. So I guess you could kind of say that Outsider was technically our 5th kind of release, you know what I mean? So we're kind of there, to be honest. I look at least this, I look at the EP, the debut EP, as an album. I mean, it's like we toured on that thing for 3 years, even though there was 4 songs on it. Like, I just kind of like, or there's, you could do this. You can put the 2020 singles together with the EP, and that would amount for at least an album's worth of material. So maybe the next album is album number 5. It's our last album on Sony. And well, at least in this contract, I don't know if we're going to extend that or renegotiate or what, but as of now, it's our final album on a label. If we don't extend our contract with them, I could see us probably just self-releasing from there on out, to be honest. I mean, we're pretty good at it, and obviously we just reissued our entire catalog on our own label, and we have great distribution and stuff. So that's something that we may do, but again, that's so far down the line. Our next album won't come out until 2026. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, that's the long answer to your question. But just want to let you know that yes, I have thought deeply about this, and I've tried not to let it be a curse, because again, I feel like as long as we're happy with what we're producing, then that should be what matters. There's tons of people. Here's one other thing about all those bands. After the first 10 years or the first 4 albums is when they really broke.
Sure.
And that's what's not fair about life. It's like when people start actually noticing you and caring, the bulk of your brilliance is behind you. It seems.
And I want to point out too about those bands that there are a couple other very interesting factors. Most of the time, the writing process is really only 2 fucking people in the band.
Mm-hmm.
The other is they were extremely young. Like, I'm saying, like, between 18 and 20 when they started.
Right.
There are a lot of that as well, which is a very, I think that adds to the thing of what you were saying.
I think that the only secret to breaking that is, so when you get to that point in your career, is to try to not repeat yourself. Because a lot of bands do that. They go, oh, let's make album number 5 like album number 1. That's what, and you can't recapture that. But also, it's the way to win is to not follow any trends. You have to go back to making your first album in a mentality, not in a sound. Like, if you could throw out the rule book on album number 5 and approach it like a beginner, then you're probably going to make something really good, But if you try and just recapture what you did on the first album, it's usually going to be like, oh, we've heard this before. This is watered down. But it's kind of like movies. Like, you ever see sequels that come out a decade later? Like, you get really excited because you always wanted the sequel, but it's like people have grown up, the magic's gone, and all they do is do a bunch of throwback references to the original to try and make you go, oh yeah, I'm getting this nostalgic feeling. But it's a new movie. It's a continuation of the story. You don't need that stuff.
Sure. No, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, a little
Dumb
nod.
and Dumber was one of those. It's like, dude, y'all are way too late on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you there's always a reference or a throwback to the original. It's cool to have a couple nods here and there, but put them in as Easter eggs, not as like one-liners. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's like the Beetlejuice trailer.
I haven't seen it yet. Waiting to I don't watch trailers anymore.
Yeah, neither does Jason.
Yeah, I don't either. It's funny you say
Dude,
that.
I go to movies with my girlfriend, and I let her pick the movie. She's a big horror buff, so it's great. I always know it's going to be a good film, and I don't want to know anything about it. I don't want to know who's in it or anything. I just want to go in there and sit down in the cinema and experience it, just like that. I even like to go in now a little bit late after all the previews, because the trailers in the theater, it's like, man, you sit there for 20-25 minutes, you feel like you just watched 5 or 6 films.
Sure. You have a film story that you told on the Night Demon Heavy Metal podcast, and it was your excursion when I think you were 13 or something, that you had went to see Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
I remember that story from that podcast. I'm like, dude, that's fucking rad.
Well, the story was, my mom, for my birthday every year, she would tell me I could invite 10 friends over, and we'd go get pizza and go to the movies, and then they could spend the night and we would hang out. Right. And so I wanted to go see Tombstone. because Tombstone was out in the theaters, and she was like kind of looking at the rating and this and reviews or whatever, and she's like, yeah, I don't think your friend's parents are going to be like stoked me taking you to some like shoot 'em up western, so I didn't know what the fuck else was playing, so I'm like, how about this one? And she's like, okay. It was like Dazed and Confused, and it just turned out to be a movie about young kids drinking, smoking pot, and having sex and listening to rock and roll. So, but the funny thing is, she loved it because she graduated high school in '76, so she was like that senior class. It was a movie about her life, so
Sure.
it was pretty cool. It's serendipitous the way that worked out.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
My dad
Jason,
took me to see Tombstone.
What?
Yeah, my dad took me to see Tombstone.
See, yeah. Well, you're a mountain man, dude. He was probably like, he probably made you go. He's like, son, it's time.
The theater behind the mall here that's no longer there used to be a dollar theater, but they at the time they're the only ones that would sell beer. That was like not a common thing. So he would take me to all kinds of movies and just sit there and just drink like dollar beers, and so that
Yeah,
it was I saw a lot back there. I was sad when they tore it down. That was a lot of memories.
so was it a thing where you were just like, you get upset that he would be like missing the movie because he kept getting up to go get
Oh
beer?
no, he would order like 3 at a time. My dad would drink them warm. He didn't care. I would just get popcorn, whatever I wanted. He would just get like 3 or 4 beers and just take them all back there. And just every once in a while, you just hear, and that was it. So yeah,
that's
Okay.
man.
Dude, I remember our fucking dollar theater here. It was Green Tree 4 is what it was. And it was so fucking like, dude, like you got like the C Run movies, like
Right.
where they would be like weird shit on like Tuesday nights. And then
That's
there would be
cool.
like, yeah, oh yeah, that was fucking awesome because you'd have fucking like I said, like weird fucking movies, not even, and then there would be like the fucking like the old school fucking shit sometimes where they would fucking like show like TCM or something,
Yeah.
and it would be like $1, and then they had their 50-cent night and shit like that. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Fucking, it ended up before it got torn down, it ended up becoming a haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just like so dilapidated of a fucking building, they just had to fucking take it down.
Yeah, our dollar theater got torn down too. There's a new one now, but nothing's $1, man. Actually, they just announced here that all the 99-cent stores are closing, probably because that business model is dead. I mean, burritos are like $15 now, so like nothing's $1, But
it's crazy.
Well,
like Dollar Tree has
$1.
stuff for like $7 now.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Nothing's $1, but I guarantee you there will still be until the end of time fucking dollar slices in fucking Manhattan somewhere.
Really?
Yes, there's gotta be. There's gotta be somewhere that's got a fucking dollar. It's the nastiest fucking pizza it's fucking
a bite for $1.
What's that?
Like, they give you a bite for $1.
Right.
Like,
Dude,
the challenge,
I seen
like,
I saw Maiden when I saw Maiden in New York, they still had like $2 slices.
really?
It was good too, man. Like I can't complain.
All right.
Well, I mean,
just some dude at the window with some pizza. It's like, hey, $2 for a slice, $2 to hand you a slice. I mean, it was like the size of your face. I mean, it's huge.
That's crazy. I mean, we're still making pennies, so
what?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, so because we were talking about wanting to see Tombstone and seeing Tombstone, Tombstone or Wyatt Earp?
Tombstone.
Yeah, that's hands down.
Yeah.
I like some of the actors. If they had swapped some of the actors, I would be cool with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't watch. It's hard being an actor because you really, even though people don't want to get typecast, like it's somebody's face. You recognize them with certain things. And after Costner did like Robin Hood and Dances with Wolves, like I couldn't. Kurt Russell was such a good Wyatt Earp in that. I don't know, like Tombstone is it's just great, man. I've seen it so many times. It's so good, and there's it's dark, you know.
Oh yeah, and I love the scene at the train station
Oh yeah, where he
where he
shoots
just
him.
fucking blows the dude away, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You tell him hell's coming with me."
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
the
good
best.
one too. My favorite is when he walks into the saloon and Billy Bob Thornton's sitting there playing poker and he's like bitching to everybody and the guy was like, "Hey, can you get rid of these guys for me?" And he like walks over and just smacks the shit out of him. It's like, "You're
Yeah,
gonna do something? You're just gonna sit there and bleed?" I was like, man, I was like 10 years old. Like that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard in my life. Like
yeah,
hands
it was
down.
Yeah,
pretty good.
I mean, you could have swore that line was written for Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it should have been. It probably was, but yeah,
Could you imagine Schwarzenegger playing Wyatt Earp?
Well,
it'd
I
be
mean, dude,
amazing.
who knows who was originally cast for that? You know, I mean, that's how films go. They have
Yeah.
people they go after, people get attached to it, and then there's scheduling conflicts. You know, I mean, like it could have been totally different. You know, but yeah, that was a great film, man. Good cult classic for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally, totally, totally.
Yeah.
Jason?
Are you aware of any Night Demon tribute bands?
No, but
Not
there
yet,
have
anyway.
well, no, there have been a good amount of bands covering songs, and there's a lot of YouTube guitar covers. There was a band from Spain that covered one of our songs and actually made a music video for it,
Oh, really?
like a full production video. Yeah, so that's the closest ever. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Like, not shit. I mean, I've really never thought about it, but yeah, we're still around, so who cares? I mean, I guess with bigger bands though, there's tons of cover bands, tribute bands for bands that are still around, which I think should be illegal, by the way. If they're
Yes.
not if they're not a band anymore, okay, you know, like
Now, hang on. Now, like, I think there's certain bands out there like The Doors.
yeah,
I mean, I don't want to see a fucking like. What gets me is like the naming of these bands.
mhm.
Like again, there is a Doors tribute called The Doors, and in very fucking
Yeah,
parentheses of Chicago. I
it's
hate
getting
that.
crazy. It's getting completely crazy. There's even a festival in the UK that has like 50 tribute bands, and it says like a tribute to, and then it has the band logos, like, and it's like it's so misleading, you know. And
Sure.
um yeah, I mean, look, I don't know, I've done tribute bands before, usually like one-time things for Halloween, or I had an old school Sabbath tribute too. I had a Kiss Christmas tribute, but like it was just for fun, and like it's
Was it
good to
called?
it's good to play other people's music and like learn how to play that way. But I mean, I know guys that make a better living than I do, playing in cover bands and tribute bands, and it's like I've seen that side of it. It's pretty unfulfilling going out there and trying to pretend like you're somebody else, you know. And one thing that I don't appreciate is that the tribute bands are outdrawing a lot of the newer bands that have original material, you know.
Sure.
So there's Metallica tribute bands that like sell out like huge clubs, you know. There's a Rammstein tribute band in Germany that does arenas, you know.
What the
And it's
fuck?
like, dude,
Seriously?
the
Dude.
real band is still around, you
Yeah.
know. So
But
take that.
honestly, if there were a band that were still around today, they would probably be the one exception to that rule because they don't play live a lot.
Who?
Rammstein.
Yeah, but they do it enough. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
like,
but it might be like 2 or 3 years or 4 or 5 years between visits sometimes.
so what? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
wait your turn. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's again, it's just my opinion, and who cares what I think? Doesn't matter what I think.
Well, we
Obviously,
do.
somebody,
We do.
Well, yeah,
somebody,
that's why we're
somebody
here.
like somebody likes it. They're going to pay money to see it, you know. So I don't want to take joy away from anybody, you know.
What's your favorite piece of merch you've ever put out?
Oh, party
Mm.
tray, easy. No.
uh, It's probably that. I would have to say that. Probably the party mirror.
Or
Just
party mirror.
reminds me of like going to the county fair and like I used to, play the
The
games
dark.
at the fair. Yeah, and win those things. And I would just play it till I won. I still have an old Iron Maiden one from Killers. It's pretty cool.
Eight.
These cool wallets.
Oh,
Like
dude, I don't have one of those yet.
wallet in so long. So we made some like Velcro wallet. I'm like a kid with a Velcro wallet.
Oh yeah.
But
Can you put a chain drive on it?
no, it doesn't have a hole for that. But
Ah,
we actually made these necklaces of our sigil, the Night Demon symbol, and I really like those. Those came out really good. I think we might do another run of those. Yeah, we've thought about getting a little more adventurous and into some other things, but having a hot sauce and a beer that that stuff that actually tastes good and stuff. That's we're really proud of that stuff. Um, the early on neck braces for people that headbang too much at the show. We had some of those. Yeah, a lot of cool little shit. So
have you ever seen any bootleg Night Demon merch?
all over the place. Yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite piece of it?
there was there was a there was a bootleg shirt in Mexico when we were touring on the Curse of the Damned album, and the album cover is this guy, muscular shadow figure with these glowing red eyes holding this axe, but like it was somebody tried to redo it, and the art was all fucked up, and he was all fat, and like his head was tilted to the side. His head was tilted to the side. And it was like, oh, he was like could barely hold the axe. It was hilarious. So,
Please tell me you have a copy of that you have.
I don't, but I do have a copy of a drug related piece of merch that somebody from another band made that we toured with. Yeah, I don't know. I won't talk too much about that. But back in the early days of our real party phase, we had a reputation for doing certain kinds of things, and there's a nice illustration of it, and it was made into T-shirts. So maybe I'll show that to you guys off air. But
Sure.
I don't know, if there's children listening.
Yeah, I don't think so. I
Never know, man. You never know.
What is your most precious fan gifted item?
Oh my God. We just got a new chalice for Rocky, our mascot, made by this girl, Abby, in Tulsa. She had done like some kind of a woodworking class or something. And she said, hey, I want to make a chalice for this band, Night Demon. And I don't know if it was tied to a church or something, but they would not let her do it because they said it was blasphemous. And so that right there is already a feather in the cap. I like always fighting against that system. I'm a pretty spiritual dude, and I have nothing against any religions at all personally, but the organization of them usually leads to this kind of shit. So like I like to defy any kind of control over people's autonomy. So she ended up doing it anyway. I don't know how she made it, but it's great. It was presented to us in like a road case. Then you open it up and it's in there, and it's made out of solid wood, and there's a photo of like a tree trunk that she carved it out of. It's incredible. It's really awesome. But we've had everything made from keychains, backpacks, custom back patches, one-off T-shirts, Legos. We've had Legos of the action figures. Is this broadcast over video as well?
Yeah.
You can here. I'm in my office here. You can see I have some bootleg stuff here on the wall. Trading cards, like top style trading cards.
Oh fuck.
Here's some examples of the necklaces that I was talking about here. Here's a nice here's a nice bootleg patch that's pretty frayed. That's one of a kind, but it actually does glow in the dark. It's like glow in the dark stitching that a fan made. So, yeah, stuff like that, you know. Yeah, we've got some people surprise us and make some cool stuff. What I really like is a lot of times not the stuff that people give us, but the stuff that they make for themselves. And I I'm not I'm not a big purchaser of bootlegs. Um, but I will occasionally buy a bootleg that's bootleg from like a very rich and famous band that I love. I
Mhm.
feel like I still buy records and I still pay for concert tickets when I can, and I still support the big bands financially, but due to the fact that they are such big business, a lot of times they the design schemes they're not closely watched they're not watched closely enough, and the bootleggers seem to come out with the best designs sometimes, you know, or
Sure.
they'll do old school classic design and put a spin on it that's like, oh god, that looks so great, I want to wear that. And some I've actually seen Night Demon bootlegs that I really like, and I've approached those people and said, look, you're not in trouble, let's do something together, you know, like
Right.
instead of just bootlegging, like why don't we make this official and you give us some free art and let us do it too, you know. So it's just oh, let me show you this. This is incredible. Somebody got this for me. All right, this Iron Maiden. It's a gray sweatshirt, right? Just a crew neck sweatshirt. It's a little bit distressed too. It's officially branded Iron Maiden. The back has the song titles, right? It's amazing. I love this so much. This was at Target. Like, so Maiden like officially licensed it. They're gonna get paid from it, but this is not something they would ever sell on their website or on the at a
No.
show. You know? And like, actually, I went to Target and like there it is. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, you know, like so. Fashion is also an art, and I like to see what people do with it. And again, like as much as I don't like being bootlegged, there's a difference. There's bootlegs. You can go on eBay right now and buy any Night Demon bootleg. Every design we've made is out there as a bootleg. eBay will not shut it down no matter how many times we report it. And all they're doing is the minute we put something out, they just go, "Okay, we have it." Like they're not doing their own thing with it. They're just taking our designs and trying to make money, and they are making money off it. At the same time, the argument is that if your stuff is being bootlegged, that means that people care, and it's some way promotion, I guess. You know, a t-shirt is a walking billboard for your brand. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
But at the end of the day, life is short, and I'm flattered that somebody would even want to do it. So there you go.
Definitely. Jason, you got another one?
No, not really. Not really. I just got some things to say about Night Demon after we get done, but that's about it.
You said after we get done?
Oh yeah, I mean I can do it now too.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
man. Yeah, man. I just want to thank you, Jarvis, for like just letting like the bands that have opened for you and stuff just like live vicariously through Night Demon and watching your like rise to Black Album and post Black Album Hatred coming up in a couple years. But no, seriously, dude, it's awesome to watch. Like, cause you hit like I hit you up about getting a show here in town, and like you were like, yeah, that'd be awesome, and then you've come back twice, and you remember my name every time, and just like always said hey and being awesome, and never acted like you were just like above us now or anything. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you, man, for just being real and just like letting everyone like just join you on the journey, even though it's online. Obviously, most of the time, I still
Well,
watch all the videos and I get excited for the merch and all that stuff. So yeah, man, just thanks for just being real.
oh, I appreciate that, and that goes both ways. You know, thank you too. Like you put up the band at your house. You know, put on a festival for us. It was the first show. We came back after the pandemic. We flew out and played for you in
Yep.
Asheville.
That was the
And
debut of a lot of You're the Demon songs too, live.
yeah,
I think you played 4.
absolutely. And that show was recorded and multi-tracked and lives forever, and it's yeah, I mean, it's like we all play our part in this thing, and having Temptations Wings play with us and being friends with you guys, and like it's all part of it. It's like it adds to our life experience too. So yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it. The appreciation goes both ways. um and I've had a lot of fun out there with you guys. So I hope that continues. And yeah, it's good that we're all still here doing this kind of stuff, right? I mean, that's what it matters. People always ask me what's the secret to longevity, and I always say longevity is the secret. The minute you stop doing it, there's zero chance at getting any better at it. So
Yeah, and you have to come back now for a 4th show, because I'm totally stealing that idea for a flyer about the big overweight dude with the axe. That's the next show flyer for
dude,
that.
we have
Hands down. That's awesome.
let's do it at like a barbecue restaurant.
Yeah, man. I want to say too,
Rocky's
like
Hot
when
Chicken
the first time
Shack.
you guys played and brought your like production, I remember the background with the light up eyes. I always
Yeah.
thought that was really cool, man. With like, and it just stayed on all the time in between when the lights were off
Yeah.
and stuff. And I never forgot that, man. I always thought like, man, I just saw like an arena show in like 100 cap venue. Like it was
Well,
amazing.
it's funny because like it's sometimes the DIY production is the absolute best. I mean, we toured with Ghoul, and they're kind of like Guar, like they really take it to the next level. And all their shit is DIY too, but they're very talented, like their costume design and their theatrics and stuff is very well put together and thought out. And they saw our backdrop that had 2 little LEDs in it, and they were like, genius, brilliant. They're like,
Yeah, man.
fuck,
Yeah.
why couldn't
I
we just
stole it.
think that? Why couldn't we think of that? 2 LEDs. It's like that's it.
Yeah, we have a Medusa head that we use for a prop, and I went out and bought 2 LEDs and a 9-volt battery, and I just like poked the eyes out and just like stuck them in there. And when we play that song, I just turn it on, and there it is, and it's like, damn, it was so
Dude,
easy.
Oh, well, check this out. Hang on.
same fucking way, man.
Yeah, man.
Right here.
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I could show you guys something here. Yeah, so like this is the new Rocky head.
Oh,
The changing right now, but like we usually have them just red.
Yeah.
This is the new mask here. It's got the sigil carved in his head, and it's got like a movable jaw, So we're we're always trying to do something new and cool with it. But this was made by our friend Nelson Cooper, he does a lot of stuff for movies. He's done like all this props for American Horror Story. And yeah, we're really stoked to have the Rocky 3.0 here.
hell
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's fucking exciting as shit. Dude, Jarvis, thank you so fucking much. This has been so fucking rad. I don't want to take up any too much more of your time. I do have one more question, but before we get to it, as always, links are listed below. So please give likes, shares, follows, go buy merch, support in any and every way you can. Fucking because, dude, again, as Jason said, living vicariously through you, fucking online, dude. Fucking, I've always been the guy to tout off that like certain bands I think needed to like go away so bands like yours could take those arena spots.
well, the fact that these bands are going on for so long gives us hope, because we're not 20 years old anymore. So the fact that if they could do it in their 60s and 70s, I guess that means that we're allowed to stick around a bit longer, right? So
Yeah.
and whether it's an arena or whether it's at an oddities bar, it's the same effort from us, and just being a part of metal community and the fandom of it all. Like, it's just, we feel really at home, you know. So you know, if it all ended today, it would be a success for sure.
Definitely. Do you have anything you want to say to anybody? Shout outs, anything else you want to promote today?
Yeah, I want to say fuck you to, no, just kidding.
Tribute bands all
No,
over the world.
check out the Night
Dude, you
Demon
want to slag people? Do it. Go.
No,
this
that,
is your
man.
show.
I don't do that.
No, I know.
Yeah, those days are over for me, man. Everybody is awesome and
Yeah.
an asshole at the same time, you know. Like, side note, I was talking to my friend today that I mentioned at breakfast, and we were just talking. It's like, human beings are so complex, you know. It's not like that guy's a narcissist. So, like, yeah, maybe he is, like, in this context he's probably also like a loving father, and you know what I'm saying, like,
Sure.
like, so multifaceted. Nobody is one thing. We're all equally cool and equally assholes at the same time, right? So anyway, yeah, check out the Night Demon reissues. You can find those on our Bandcamp page. You can get them pretty much in any record store. And yeah, look for us on the road, nightdemon.net, and Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. You can find on all podcast platforms. Podcast is a cool thing, even if you're not a diehard fan of, well, if you are a diehard fan of the band, you probably already know about it. But if you're not, it's just a cool listen on, you know, what real life is like in a touring band and a full-time band, really, you know. And it's a good education, actually, if you're looking into doing something like that. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. And yeah, the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast obviously is played on the trailer here. When you go back and listen to the end of the show and everything, it's there. Been a supporter for years here. Always playing that on here, and thank you so fucking much. My final question of the day is, as you have progressed musically, whether it be, you know, your playing ability, your managerial skills, what has made you the most content as a person?
Playing, like, the musicianship and the songwriting. I think the managerial skills is just something of necessity. It's like, I have found a passion in the music business, but it's kind of funny. Like, what's the Megadeth line? Military intelligence, two words, you know, together that don't make sense, right? It's like music and business, like art and business are two words that just do not belong in the same conversation. Unfortunately, that it is a thing, and you need to strategize in a way with how you release your art. You need to make a living doing it. You need to be involved with people that are also involved with releasing music and exposing music and getting music on the road. So it is a necessary evil, I guess you could say. I've tried to make it fun, but, you know, I've been involved. I've done business with some great people in this industry, and I've done business with a lot of really not great people, you know, a lot of people that are in it for the wrong reason, a lot of people that don't have a clear vision of the future, a lot of people that are stuck in their ways. And it's just about getting over that hump. So the business thing, I'm really happy that I've been involved in the business side of things most of my life, because it's helped it's helped to get my art where I want it to be. But it does take time away from the art, and it kills the purity of the art at times. You know, it's just, it makes you more and more jaded the longer you do this stuff. And it's just like, oh man, sometimes I just have conversations with people that it just blows my mind about some of the lack of logic and reasoning that some people in this business have, you know. And again, I always love meeting people and doing business with people that are in this for the right reasons, for the passion of the music, for the benefit of the artist, You know, when you let the artist, when you allow the artist to benefit from it, the business side benefits heavily, you know, and people don't get that. They don't get that. And managing bands has been something that I've been really good at doing. And it's only because I'm the guy out there doing it. You know, I'm not sitting behind a desk. Well, funny as I sit behind a desk. You know what I'm saying? Like I know what it takes to be out there. So, and I'm still out there doing it. So I can empathize with everything that they're going through. And for me to make money, I need to make sure that they make a lot of money, you know, and there's nothing wrong with making money. You know, that's another stigma that we have in the scene. And it's usually from people that don't have any money, you know, but it's people need to be appreciated for their art, especially when there's commerce being made from their art, right? I mean, they deserve, because without them there wouldn't be anything, any pie to take from. So my goal is always to get artists a bigger share of that pie and a bit more of the glory that comes with the stuff that they created out of absolutely nothing, you know. So people are out there paying for their stuff, then that is owed. And in today's industry it's really hard to get. And I mean, even the old school industry, there were a lot of gatekeepers, and now there's not, and that's good. So I think we live in a good period of time. It's kind of the Wild West. We're going to look back on it and go, wow, that was a really interesting time in
Sure.
art. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I'm happy to work with some really amazing bands, and to really feel like and know every day when my head hits the pillow that, you know, I'm here for a reason. And I really did something every single day to help these people. You know, that's the gratifying thing, you know, because on the tombstone, they don't, it's, you know, your net worth is not written on there. It's how, you know, you're going to be remembered for your relationships with people, you know, and what you meant to them, you know. And so I try to remind myself of that. So.
Absolutely. And it's staying humble and just being in it, like you said, for the right reasons, you know, and it's building each other up and not tearing each other down, you know. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, you could do, and yeah, I mean, we've all seen the like you said, you know, the where everybody's cool, but everybody's an asshole, you know. We've all seen all sides of that. And like you said, you know, looking at like this time as the Wild West and looking back on it in, you know, 10 or 15 years, being like, wow, what the fuck were we doing? You know, I still think of that 20 years ago, being like, wow, what the fuck was I doing? You know, so yeah, it's like a transcension. It sends time. It all is relative.
Yeah, it is. It's just going to be interesting to see how creators will monetize their creations in the future. I think something's going to flip, you know, something, especially with all the AI technology, you know, like I think humans are going to gravitate way more towards human works, and that's going to be awesome, you know, like imperfection is going to be the new standard, you know, and that's great. Humanism, right, is going to be, it's going to be a rare commodity that people are going to seek out, and I'm looking forward to those days.
Fuck yeah, man. Me too. I mean, hell yeah. Dude, Jarvis, thank you so fucking much. Jason, thank you
Yeah, man,
as well.
anytime. I mean, not anytime, but I do
Awesome.
like it.
I am glad this is like one of Jason's first interviews back with us in a long time. And what's so fucking fitting it is that now the new name of this episode of the Metal Forge, because of the time involved, is 90 Minutes with Jarvis Leatherby.
I love it. I
had so much more I could have asked, dude. We would have been for
I'll come back. We'll do it again. All right.
Yeah, I got so much about like U.S. festivals, the big ones, and
fuck yeah.
I wanted to talk to you more about Gene Simmons, about how I think he's like kind of underappreciated for the dedication to his craft, stuff like that. But yeah,
sure. I'm in.
Yeah, that's a very good one as well. But dude, Jarvis, thank you again. On our way out today from your Night Demon career, what do you want to play out?
Let's play off the album Outsider, play The Wrath.
Excellent.
Yeah. The Wrath. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Jarvis.
Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way,
For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense, and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.